Today we're going to turn this arc lighter, which is cool in its own way, into a Harry Potter wand arc lighter. Interested? Here we go. My son started talking about making a Harry Potter wand, and I came up with this one, but this is way too big. Here's my second iteration. This is actually my son's wand. He talked about having a stone on the end. This is more like the Harry Potter wand. It's 13 inches long, except for it doesn't have this part here. I'm going to pattern my arc lighter fire starter wand on this version. You can see I kind of marked right here. That's about 4 inches. 4 to 5 inches seems to be what a handle is on a wand. I've used Sculpey for my other wand builds. Really a nice end state. But you have to bake that, and I'm not sure I want to bake with electronics at 275 degrees for 15 minutes. I've come up with another solution. It's a little more expensive, but it's called Apoxie. It's 2-part, and you have to make equal amounts. I have a scale here, and I don't want cross-contamination. So I got A to go with A, B to go with B, and then I'll measure equal parts, and this is what the epoxy looks like. Here's the B portion, and here's the A portion. And you mix them together like a regular epoxy. Using 1 spoonful, and I'm going to use my left hand for the B, 17 grams. Okay, now we'll do 17 grams of this, for a total of 34 grams. Alright, 17 grams of both. I'm just going to combine these two together. This seems to mix like regular epoxy, but it has more of a clay consistency. Sticky, moist, and adhesive for the first 30 minutes, 1 hour easy to work. Once you get it together, you got to let it sit for 5 minutes. I'm going to take the opportunity while that is resting to tape this off and the end off to make sure nothing gets in there. I've used a silver Sharpie marker. That will be the end of this part of the wand. I'll bulk it up. I have a 3/4 inch regular PVC pipe. I'm going to roll out a piece, almost work like fondant. It is very sticky. Just want a thin layer. All right, I'm trying to roll it out. It sticks to everything. Carve this out a bit. Just getting a sense of things. Trying to find my marks. So now I'm going to cut it out right here, and then I'll use the extra portion for the knobby ends. Tears pretty easy. Kind of sticks to itself, clean itself off. Now I have the base layer down, and I'm trying to make sure that all the painter's tape can be released without an issue. It worked out pretty good, so now I'm going to take and make the knobby ends, and then I'll start texturing it. No idea how this is going to turn out. Being very optimistic here. I've kind of got the basic shape of things I want, and then I'm going to come in here and use it when it's a little less sticky. I let it sit for about 45 minutes. So let's give it a shot here. More like clay now. I got about a 1 hour working time. Kind of move things around, groove it, make it more natural. It's got to look like wood. So this is kind of like the first level. I'm making the groove to make sure I don't get into the electronics and the bottom is still working. I'm taking different instruments and carving out things. Little brass nail, putting in some details here, kind of running it down, trying to make it as chaotically natural. It was ripped off a tree. I'm not too concerned about a little bit of the stickiness here. I found out that once I started holding on to it, it was a lot easier to put in the details. I really like the fine lines you can put in with this tool right here. I can feel it hardening up, but I still feel like I got plenty of time to work with it. It's the next day, and this is rock hard, and I like the texture of it. This is all I had left. I started out with 34 grams and only 4 grams left, so I guess I could have done 30 grams and had it perfect. The next step is to spray the wand, and it is a wand now, with this Krylon gloss leather brown. So I'm going to start with a brown base, and then I'm going to add colors just like I did to this. There's like 3 or 4 different colors in here. The other thing I want to do is protect the arc because I'm concerned I'll overspray it and then that'll be it. There it is, all closed off. But now I'm going to hang it using this wire so I can maximize the spray. I really like the spray on it. I can see how it all pops the details. Didn't spray the bottom there. That's okay. I'm going to paint that. And then I'm just going to do all this in black with a little bit of touch up. It's a little tacky, not too bad from last night's spray paint. It's just a regular black acrylic, and I'm using a number 10 brush. I use that on all my builds and it seems to work out fine. I'm going to let a little bit of the brown pop through, paint the end. I'll leave these little stumps here brown. Not heavy painting on the brush. Trying to go with the grain I've established for the wand. And then I'm going to dry brush some of this real brown just to give it a second layer of texture. Taking most of the paint off. And I want to kind of emphasize this a little bit on the ends. So this little bit of dry brushing of the brown will help with that. Trying to make it look more like wood. Not going to take much. Dry brush with a little bit of black. Pretty happy with that. Maybe I'll touch it up a little bit more tomorrow after it dries. And then I'm going to just take it, put a paper towel around the end to kind of protect the paint. Let it dry standing up by putting it in the clamp. And then the grand reveal. Here's a close-up of the wand. Left those shiny because of the flame. I probably could color those in with a brown magic marker. I didn't put a clear coat on this, but I probably could. You can see that I'm down to 200 left. The charger port is on the back. I was pretty careful not to color that one in with paint. I've painted this around a little bit, you can see here, but I can always touch that up with a marker or a little bit of paint. Tried to get the different colors. I'm pretty pleased with this design. There's things I would change. I learn every time I do a project, and so I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I also colored this in and was real careful to help that transition because if you recall, that was all black. So now we've gone full circle. Here's the end product. Cost? Well, you got $13 in the arc lighter. You have about $2 in the epoxy sculpt and some paints. So if you don't have anything, you're probably starting around $25. If you're like me, you can make this wand probably more like $15. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. And stay tuned as I make more costumes and more interesting things that I can't find anywhere else. Coming soon.